7 entrepreneurs, 7 big ideas. Who will win your investment? From our nation's capital, welcome to Street Pitch 2020, Talent, Heart, Hustle.
Street Pitch is the Entrepreneurs Championship and the concluding pillar of the Street Entrepreneurs Accelerator.
Street Entrepreneurs believes it takes a founder to know a founder. Hence, the finalists were chosen by 1,000 of their fellow entrepreneurs.
These 7 finalists, all women and people of color, are going to share their journeys and pitch their companies to a panel of experts and investors.
You, the audience.
That's right, you.
Will vote directly with your money to directly invest in entrepreneurs via crowdsource campaigns, product purchases, and in-kind contributions.
We're your hosts, Sam Bonner
and Brianna McGowan.
When people think of DC, they think of politics, monuments, and go-go music.
What people don't know about the Washington metropolitan area is that it is home to the most inclusive entrepreneurial ecosystem in the USA.
And the Street Entrepreneurs nonprofit is at the heart of the equitable innovation movement in the city.
Let's meet the first entrepreneur.
My name is Walter Pearson, and I'm the founder and creator of College Bound Parenting, an online college planning platform geared to help parents assist and guide their kids to college. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't think college is for everybody, but those that it is for, it's not always affordable. So it was at Martha's Table where I really fell in love with youth development. It was an organization that, kind of allowed us to be creative in how we kind of implemented programs, with the kids. Howard has been very instrumental in my entrepreneurship endeavors. They have been very supportive of my ed tech solutions. They will support their alumni. They gave me an opportunity to launch my business and beta test out some of the solutions that I was creating for students.
What are 3 words that I would use to describe Walter Pearson? I would say innovator, trailblazer, and leader. That is, he is that person that is always on the cutting edge, always trying to make a difference, always creating new and innovative things in his business that will help the community.
Every child deserves college prep. And the best person to prep them for college is their parents. But if they can't assist them, then it's very hard for those children to go to college. Hi, my name is Walter Pearson, and I'm the founder of collegeboundparenting.com. Did you know that the average public high school counselor only provides 15 minutes per child per year of college prep? That led me to become an independent college prep consultant. And for the past 15 years, I've been helping families, upper middle income to lower income, prepare their children for college. And their children all have the same aspirations. They want to go to a good college and find scholarships to pay for it. I believe every child deserves first-class college prep. And that's why I created collegeboundparenting.com, an innovative parent coaching platform that recognizes the importance of engaging the parents in the college prep process so they can guide their kids to college. The college prep industry is a $1 billion industry. 80% of the players in the industry are for-profit companies that focus on high-income families. It's estimated that wealthy families spend up to $10,000 on college prep. 10% of the industry is made up of nonprofit organizations, and they service first-generation and low-income families. And they provide their college prep services for free. And that's awesome. But we believe a large part of the market is neglected. Second-generation families. Those are first-generation parents who have a household income of $90,000 to $150,000. They can afford to invest in their child's college prep, but not send them through college. And that's our market. That's who we serve best. Now, we plan to meet these families through 4 different sales channels: charter schools, churches, parent associations, and employers. Our business model, we charge $500 per year to access our platform. And we project in year 1 to acquire 250 new subscribers. In years 2 through 4, we project to acquire 500 subscribers a year, in which time we will break even. And that's why I'm here today. We are almost ready to launch our platform, but we need a little assistance. We are looking for beta testers. We're offering families an opportunity to beta test our platform for 50% off at $250. We're also looking for individuals to pay it forward, to purchase a license for a family who can afford it. And Street Entrepreneurs has decided to be our fiscal sponsor for the donations. Now, when families beta test our platform, they will receive the following. 1, access to our online college planning video courses that will inform them of all the essential components of a college planning process from A to Z. Everything from what high school classes your child should take to negotiating their financial aid award letters. 2, they'll receive access to our live and on-demand college planning webinars facilitated by our professional college planning coaches. Our coaches will coach them on what to do, when to do it, how to do it, every quarter of their child's high school academic career. So for example, there's a webinar for freshmen in the fall, freshmen in the spring, freshmen in the winter, freshmen in the summer. The next thing they will receive is our college planning binder and some cool organizational tools that we've developed to help the parents stay organized throughout the process. And finally, students will receive access to our ACT and SAT combo course to help them study for their exam, an $800 market value. So finally, if you are interested in learning more about our business and have any great ideas on how we can grow our business, please reach out to us at info@collegeboundparenting.com or find us on streetentrepreneurs.org/street pitch. Thank you.
So I have a series of questions, but I'll just start with one and then we'll go around. You mentioned yourself it's an extremely crowded space, and the 4 things that you listed as the services or the offering that you have don't make it quite clear to me. What is the one thing that actually makes you competitive? What's your differentiator there?
Sure, I think it's the combination of all 4 in one component. So you have some players that just provide kind of just online college planning services, and it's pretty much, it can be free, and they're more so selling data. And that's a very, very crowded space. I mean, if you type in college planning on Google, you're gonna get 10,000 websites. You have some independent consultants like myself, who we more so cater just to, we go out and find our clients, because we're charging them $2,000 and $3,000, $4,000 to help guide their kid to Georgetown and to Duke, right? And so that's a whole other market. And then you have your nonprofit market. So we are taking kind of the best of both worlds there and actually targeting a certain segment of the market, which are second generation, and we're actively going to go recruit those or acquire those customers through partnerships with organizations where they congregate.
I want to follow up on that. Tell me more about that sales strategy. I mean, that sounds like pretty high touch sales. So I want to hear about what your customer acquisition plan is. And I also want to hear about what focus groups or research you've done on parents that say, yes, I want this, or what do I want?
Great. That's a great question. So I'm a parent of three children, and so and I'm my market, right? So when I built this, it was with me in mind, right? And so where I and my kids were involved in all those 4 channels. So they played AAU sports. We were part of a church. I was part of in the PTA. And so when it comes, so I've done workshops with all those channels. And so I kind of tested the market to see where and how I could touch those organizations and create a sales strategy from partnering with such organizations. So I have a relationship with one of the largest AAU organizations in the country. Actually, they've produced probably 10 NBA stars within the past 20 years. Every parent that knows about what I do is waiting for me to purchase. I literally have a huge waiting list of parents waiting to purchase my program. I didn't want to go to market without, because every year I relaunch this, and this is the first year that because of COVID, I put it all online. 6 years ago, I said, you know what, I'm going to package everything that I do so I kind of duplicate myself and offer to more people and kind of duplicate myself. And so my daughter was in the 8th grade at the time, and so I kind of put together this whole organizational system for her, and it got super organized, and we got a plan, and I executed my plan with my daughter. She was 8th grade. And so I laid out her path for 4 years in order for her to get into Harvard. And so we had Harvard as the goal. And she didn't want to go to Harvard. That was the goal, to prepare her to go to Harvard, right? Long story short, my daughter is a UNCF STEM scholar and a UMBC Meyerhoff scholar, and is on her way to a completely debt-free education. Graduated with a 4.75 GPA, and she is amazing.
How do you make sure that you're protecting the investment of the family, right? And make sure that the kids actually taking the course, and also like are you doing the kind of like tracking of like performance data? So after they take the course, they do really well.
So there's two different questions there. So the platform is for parents and for the students. Obviously, the students are going to take the ACT and SAT prep course, and those are 8 lessons that are 1.5 hours long. My daughter actually took the course herself. Trust me, if you're a parent and you pay for your children to play SAT and ACT, they're going to take the course, right? But there are metrics and measurements along the way that they get feedback from the course. The coaching platform and the video courses are more so for the parents. Now, students can take the courses as well, but they're more so for the parents, so they have the information and they're informed and empowered, so they can actively guide their kids to college. Now, there's also a section just for students. We call it a student checklist. So every month they can take that course, and it's telling them what they need to be doing, how they need to do it, and the resources that they need to use in order to complete that particular task.
You have all the accolades, you know, your own children being your best, marketing examples, essentially. I think you should go for higher prices, absolutely. And to top on that, I made a note that when you described your target market, the second generation, and I didn't scribble down the annual income of those people, but it immediately occurred to me that $500 for them, for the target market that you described, is nothing. They will gladly pay, whatever you just described, $1,500 for an alternative service. That's where I would then also just be more entrepreneurial and say, you can afford it. There's no reason for me to be at this cheap. I'm going to go for quality and therefore charge the most that I can charge.
Street entrepreneurs believe that those closest to the problems have the insights needed to solve them. That's why their motto is, if you're crazy enough to dream of a world that doesn't exist and driven enough to bring it to life, then the Street Entrepreneurship Accelerator is for you. Let's meet the next entrepreneur.
Hey everybody, my name is Jessica Dew, and I'm the founder and CEO of Click. Being in the industry, I actually needed to network to grow my career, because as a freelancer, if you don't network, you don't eat, you don't have a job. So I want to help other people to learn how to build relationships, to excel, whether it's socially or professionally. Click is designed to be for social and professional purposes.
I look up to innovators like Steve Jobs for their ability to keep creating and being a visionary, because I see myself as a visionary and an inventor as well. And so I look up to those people who are pioneers. I also look up to people like Oprah Winfrey, because she's went from being a news anchor to having her own network, and the level of perseverance it took to get from where she was to where she is very admirable. So my entrepreneur style is tenacious and go-getter. New York state of mind, that's how I see my entrepreneurial style. I really like, when I really am passionate about something, I really like to take it and just work on it until I make it a success.
Hey everyone, have you ever been to a loud event and tried to connect with someone and had a hard time hearing them to get their contact info, and when you get home you realize you don't even have their correct contact info? Or maybe you network a lot and you collect tons of business cards, but still don't remember who these people are or the purpose for connecting, so you throw their cards in the trash. Or maybe you have been networking and building your network, but you still need help on building upon those relationships. If these are your problems, have no fear. I'm Jessica Dew, founder and CEO of Click. Click is the ultimate contact sharing and relationship management app. With one tap of your phones, you mutually exchange your contact info with someone else's. But what's next? After making the connect, you can use Click to nurture those relationships and build upon your networking soft skills. Click allows you to save money by not purchasing useless business cards, power network swiftly through the use of NFC and QR codes to exchange info, and nurture relationships through a variety of engagement prompts. So our business model is a freemium business model with a viral engine of growth. And we plan to make money via upgrades, in-app purchases, and ads, with 39% coming from premium users and 61% coming from ads and in-app purchases. So our target market are millennial and Gen Z entrepreneurs, freelancers, creatives, and young professionals. And this market is big because more than 1 in 3 of the labor force participants, 35%, are millennials and Gen Z, and with a projection of 75% by 2025. Also, these people still prefer networking and engaging in traditional forms of communicating, which includes in-person interaction. And only 18% of people still hand out paper business cards. 35% of people save contact info somewhere in their phone, and 1.9 billion business cards are purchased in the US every year for about $800 million, but 88% of those get thrown away, which shows this is a huge problem. So some of our competitors include Tappy, Close, and InTouch app, but we're different due to the ease of use through no scanning or physically entering in someone else's contact info in the app, through a swift cross-platform exchange that is compatible for both iOS and Android devices, using NFC and QR codes to exchange info. Relationship management tools through a variety of engagement prompts and alerts, a memorable profile that includes an image, time, date, and location stamps, and a social impact focus with social intelligence tips and the ability to expand your network throughout the app. So my background is 8 years in entertainment, and I'm a part of the #1 entertainment union and the former founder of a beauty and fashion tech startup where I've gained lots of experience in managing teams to get results. But through my years of actually needing to network to grow my career, I saw the need to be able to connect swiftly, become a super networker, and build relationships. And these skills have led me to working on some of the biggest shows in the country. So my plan is to create an MVP for this app to test out on 100 early adapters as soon as possible, starting with the DMV area with the projected launch of spring, summer 2021. So my ask, if you are seeking to be a part of my beta testing group, please sign up for my mailing list at clickapp.com. But also, I'm seeking to expand the Click team. And if you want to be a part of the Click team and believe in this vision, reach out to me. But last and not least, I would ask if you could take a leap of faith by either signing up in advance for the premium version of this app for $5 or for in-kind donations of $10 and above that will go towards the MVP as well as customer acquisition cost. And you can find out more details in my I Fund Women campaign. But before I leave, I would like to leave you with one last point. In a network is your net worth kind of world. Think about how easy it would be to work a room, connect swiftly, and build relationships if you had Click as your networking development buddy. Thank you. I'm Jessica Dew.
So, first question obviously is, this sounds like it's a sort of a pivot from your existing background on the entertainment side a little bit. What sort of research or what sort of market assessment have you done relative to the solution that you're talking about presenting here for people wanting to have contacts. This is a big problem, obviously, that's existed for some time. There have been a number of attempts at solving it. So what is your approach in that regard, and how do you line up with making that solution happen?
Okay, so first in regards to my background, though my background seems like it doesn't correlate, but it actually does. Because I've had to network. Being a freelancer, you have to network to even get jobs. Nothing is guaranteed for you, so you have to learn the skill of communicating and connecting, but not just saying, hey, who are you, what's your name? But you actually have to build a relationship so people want to work with you. So that has really transformed in how I think about Click, because when I would be on red carpets, sometimes I did media relations, I did red carpets. I was at different industry events, and people are always in a rush. People are always trying to connect with somebody, but no one has the time to type anything. Everyone's speeding. No one has the time to, get the information. So that's why the first example was a loud event, because that's solving a problem that I saw with not being able to get people's information in a quick enough time. And also, what was the other question that you had?
What is my approach?
Well, I guess you're familiar with other solutions in the past to try to get people more efficient. And so what approach are you taking from a functionality standpoint, from a software development standpoint, to make yours sort of stand out among others that have tried or are currently trying?
So one of the things we're doing is using NFC, near field communication, which allows the phones, most of the new phones have it built into their systems, which allow the phones, when you touch them, you share information. But instead of it just being one person sending information and one person receiving, Click is meant for both people to mutually exchange information, so that the ball is not in one person's court, or whether they follow up with you, you can follow up with them as well. Also, we have the relationship management side, because a lot of people have information and context, but they don't even know how to build relationships. So that is where the engagement prompts are, conversation starters, icebreakers, commonality prompts to get people to know each other better within their network of these people that they meet, because they obviously want to stay in touch. That is the reason for using Click, is to stay in touch and to build a connection. Also to share connections and make introductions with other people within the app, which is like a liaison, which is very, very important for growing your network and actually becoming successful and being a super networker. So it's to help people. It's not just to make it fast. The first part is to make it a fast transaction of getting information quick. That's memorable, that's very vibrant, pictures, about me, time, date, stamps, to really make it easy for the user to remember who this person is and the purpose for connecting. But the second phase is to help them to build relationships and to soft walk them. And that is why the millennial and Gen Z is my target market, though it's not limited to those people, because technology is a part of our lives, but a lot of us have forgotten how to do basic, healthy human communication. So this thrives on, you have to be able to communicate and talk to somebody. You talk to them like, hey, yeah, you're cool, I wanna work with you. Let's exchange on Click. And then you're gonna follow up the app. Have you followed up with this person? You connected with them so-and-so time 2 weeks ago. When's your follow-up? Oh, and different prompts to send them like, hey, to start the conversation. And through my research and actually going to a lot of different relationship building and business development courses, as well as online courses.
You said a certain percentage of it you expect to come from ad revenue, and a certain percentage of revenue you expect to come from charging people for you said it's a freemium. So can you kind of dig into that a little bit deeper?
So yes, I plan to let the basic part of the app be free, because it's about getting numbers and getting lots of people on there and eliminating all the barriers of getting on there. And I want this to be a part of consumer behavior, so I have to alleviate all barriers. But for the percentage of people who are the super networkers, the people who need to connect, the super business people, the upgrade will be for those people with more customizable features, adding multiple accounts to it, and different features to enable them, video features to be able to connect more swiftly within the app. So that's what the 39% I expect to come from those people, but the majority I expect to come from ads and in-app purchases. So when I say in-app purchases, I plan to test out and see what types of features the premium user, the super connector needs, and maybe giving them a one-off payment for this, if they want to organize this, one-off payment, if they want to do this, one-off payment. So really testing out different in-app features and multiple ways of getting in revenue.
And another question, what is your timeline? Given COVID, and it looks like that's going to continue into sort of way into next year, what is this looking like in terms of your rolling it out?
So I plan to, within, by February of 2021, I plan to have a basic MVP made. And then I've created a group of early adapters that want to test it out. And I'm gonna test it out on them at first. And I'm gonna get their feedback and change things, update things based upon what they want. And then when spring comes, do a soft launch of spring 2021. And then I will expand the pool of early adapters and really start testing it out. So my goal is by the time people are able to return back to going outside normally, which they can't wait to do, that they'll know about it, how it works, how it's used, and really utilize it. So that is my goal. So to use this downtime as actually testing time. And so to get product market fit, to learn about the product market fit. And thank you for coming out here, and thank you for your feedback and your questions. And I appreciate everything that you had to say. Thank you.
My name is Fabrice Carrier, and my business is called Syllable. If I can describe Syllable in 3 words, I would say it is visionary thinking in ways of the future. And the second one is storytelling. How do we tell a story that speaks to people? And the other one is collaboration. How do we leverage the collective mind and genius of the group in ways to accelerate and improve our own inabilities to see things? When I look at Syllable, I think it's based on the basic premise that writers can go further in life if they collaborate together. So we provide a collaborative space where we can match writers to people from across the world, and together they can work to design something that is going to help them in their creative process.
3 words that I think of when I think of Fabrice are passionate, thoughtful, and creative. And just kind of briefly, I think passion being first is mission critical. I think for any entrepreneur, anyone starting a business, anyone going out on a limb to do something new in the world.
At the age of 13, I was transplanted from Haiti to America. It was a traumatic experience. I thought America could give me my deepest dreams and realizations. I was wrong. With this Black body, life was a maze with many trials I had yet learned to embrace. A library became my refuge. I was surrounded by thousands of books and comics, and they allowed me to understand the world. They allowed me to understand the English language, my role in this place, and my responsibility that I had to change it. My pen became my weapon to change the world. Hello everyone, my name is Fabrice Guerrier, and I am the founder of Syllable, the first science fiction and fantasy production house. We bring writers from around the world together to work and collaborate to create visionary world building through the story Bible. I'm a writer, and there are times I can stare at a page for months and write nothing. And there are evenings where I write book worth of notes in just that evening. I know the procrastination that comes with writing. I'm a convener. I'm a second-time founder. I started the League Institute in college, a social venture that brought academic students from different backgrounds together to collaborate. One might say that this is the second iteration of Syllable. I understand the creative struggle that we are thrusted upon as writers who live in a world that sees us as an individual person that has to write by themselves. Well, gone are the days of the lone genius. Syllable brings a unique social collaborative experience for writers through the Story Bible. Group collaboration makes people more accountable. Our storyboarding process provides a unique structure and time management. And you know, I've seen it time and time again. Writers are able to build on each other's concept, and they're able to take their ideas in writing to the next level. Short fiction is dying as a market. There's less readers every year. And because readers are looking for continuous worlds and characters that they can connect with, and there's a major gap with the rise in streaming platforms and the income of writers, I believe Syllable can bridge this gap. I believe that if we can use the sharing economy to democratize the writer's room, we can give writers the opportunity to own their own mini franchise that they can grow, that they can deepen. Our first target market is a short fiction market. And we're gonna help writers populate those worlds with short stories that we're gonna help them publish in small presses in science fiction and fantasy magazine. Later on, we plan on commercializing popular worlds on our platform. Syllable will help writers package well-developed stories with built-in audiences that can cut through the increasingly noisy entertainment and publishing landscape. Syllable gets a cut from that transaction. Imagine for a second, how has this Marvel Cinematic Universe changed your life? The Hulk, Spider-Man, X-Men. How has Game of Thrones impacted your life? Superwoman. Now imagine for a second that you can change it, that you can shape the stories to allow us to see a better future, that writers from all around the world can connect and tell a new story from diverse perspectives. I believe Syllable is the future of transmedia storytelling. Help us. Help us unleash the power of creativity through collaboration. I'm organizing a series of world-building challenge workshops over the next few months, where writers out there like yourselves, aspiring writers, are gonna be matched with other writers in groups within similar genres, within levels of expertise in the type of world that you want to build. We're going to facilitate a storyboarding workshop with you to understand the foundation. We want you to collaborate organically. We'll have monthly check-ins. We'll integrate you to our feeds so you can get feedback live to readers. And eventually, within 6 months, we'll welcome you to submit the best short stories that will help you find placement and publish in small presses and literary magazines. And eventually, we want to work with the most popular worlds that gets people excited, that have the most views, and turning that intellectual property into something that can radically change the world. I'm looking to work right now with executives in media entertainment companies. If you want to help us really radically shift the way we see ourselves as a human species, this is the time. Work with me. Go on the Street Pitch website to sign up if you're a writer. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabrice. I think that's a beautifully done a pitch for us. I felt like I understood very clearly where you were coming from and the passion for the work, which I think is exciting. One of the questions I would have for you is how do you get paid?
So Syllable is going to get a cut from the publishing pieces with the small presses.
Right, so that's a long time in the future, right?
That's probably correct. As they publish their short stories, we get a cut from that as well.
But I think in the beginning you just said that people are coming into a writer's room for 6 months and working on something, and so how do you get what is the revenue? What's the revenue model? Is what I'm getting.
The workshops are going to be they're going to be a fee for the workshop, $100.
Okay, so break down what your revenue. What's the revenue model? Like how is that revenue model broken down?
So writers are going to pay a $100 fee for the revenue. $100 fee to participate in the social experience.
Okay.
And eventually, the output in the product, the content that they create, will get a 20% cut from that.
Okay.
And then the next stage where you're thinking long term is we'll also get a 20% cut from the licensing, the franchising, and the engaging different stakeholders to see where can we take this IP to the next level.
Okay, is this a for-profit?
This is for profit.
Okay.
And I think there's also an insight in terms of building a platform, a web platform where it becomes too much to do all of the collaboration that we can host it in something singular that allows writers to build that network, since the network is what is really the vision and the futures and the network of authors that can have that creative capital in their minds.
Okay.
So how much revenue have you generated?
So I would say probably around $4,000, I would say.
Okay. So I will say the passion, check the box. Like you definitely have the passion for the business. And the picture that you paint, I can actually see that in my mind, this becoming what you described. I absolutely see that. I think now getting down to the business mechanics, that's what I want to focus on with you. Because you only generated $4,000 in revenue, and if you're only planning on charging $100 per person per workshop, that's not a lot of revenue. So I'm wondering for you how you take this passion and this concept that you have that can be a multi-million-dollar thing and start monetizing it now. I'm assuming that you're not doing this full time if you're only generating, small. So we need to get you full-time focused on this so that you can turn this into what you want. So how are you going to generate revenue, enough revenue to start getting you there? And in the meantime, how much money do you need to bridge that time gap to get to where you need to get to?
Your product, I think I'm the target market for your product, right? So I have small children that I want to get excited about reading, and I'm extremely dedicated to making sure that they are surrounded by materials that look more like them, right? And so to me, it feels like you want to take, you even said it, you want to take the Black Panther type of experience and then like recreate that in writing. Your pitch is very compelling, but it's only an intro. And so I think the second piece that is missing, and I see this a lot with artistic people, right? Because they are so articulate about the passion. But you've actually done, to his point, you've done a lot of the business work, but that doesn't come through until the questioning. And so, we know there's a market, and we know that brown people and other people are gonna buy things that are compelling and interesting. But I was like racking my brain, Octavia Butler I'm a fan, but she's like the only one that anyone can really think about, right? As you were talking, I was wondering, in the collaborative spaces, if there are people that are, hold back on their ideas, or how open are they in terms of sharing things? And it seems that you have a lot of experience with this. So I would say you need to do that front piece for your pitch, but then you also need to have a very focused financial trajectory. So what I tell people oftentimes is, if you're not making money, or if you don't know how much money you will make, or are making or will make, then you have a hobby. And what you need to make sure is that you show this as a business. And I think between a shared economy and the way that people work now, I think it could be very magical and very powerful. We know that there are sort of like a narrow band of stories that get into the major publishing houses. And as we see people self-publishing more and more, we see these things. Like, I think for me, in order to like sit in front of people that have money in their pocket, you need to say, here's the beginning, and here's who I am. And to his point, gotcha. But here is what I have done so far. And that's why I know this will work. And then, with an infusion of cash of this and this, I feel like in 1 year, 3 years, we'll be here. Because from my limited knowledge about publishing, we know the market is there, we know the interest is there, and beyond a doubt, we know the talent is there. But the thing that people really lack is that access to the portals and the venues that get their ideas out into the light. And that is what you're doing, right? And so you're saying we're going to collaborate this, we're going to be a stronger community together, and then we're going to be part of our own profit sharing by managing this ourselves.
One thing that you're saying that's making me think about is that I'm like, I wasn't imagining the consumer as the audience. I'm imagining that the audience for this are the writers. So if we have writers as your target market for this, but there's also consumers on the other end that are a target market for this, the work of marketing, accessing, and receiving income from, and like working with, those are two very different target markets. And so it's making me think a little bit more about how we're getting to the business plan, how are we getting to the execution of this, how is this executed as a business? It's a large undertaking, the business side of this, because in essence it's a community building opportunity, but it's also a media organization that is serving internal and external audiences. So you know, I would love for you to think a little deeper about that and help me understand that, because if you're really sold on those two different audiences, then I think that's something that could be clearer in the pitch, in the conversation a little bit, because it's not, that's complicated, right? It's complicated to meet those two different audiences if you're building a media organization or you're building a community building opportunity, which is sort of crowd sourcing, you know, creativity, which is different than a media organization that is producing content to then be franchised and sold to a consumer base. You know, so it'd be good to kind of think through that a little bit, just to make sure that you're clear on whether are you doing that, or are those two separate businesses? You know, is one of it the creating of the community and the building and the concept sharing and the world building, and then there's another business, which is the platform and the media organization that distributes it? Or are they the same?
Absolutely. I've always conceived it as an intellectual property business. That's the business that we're getting into. We got accepted this year, or I got accepted this year, in the George Mason University Business Law Lab Clinic. So they partnered us with 3 students as well as a mentor and an attorney as well as the head professor, and they're helping us sort out what does an intellectual property structure look like for us that makes sense, and then eventually how do I make a living out of this. I am extremely grateful for this. I think that there's a lot of seed ideas that I'm going to marinate within the rest of this weekend.
Throughout 2020, Street Entrepreneurs hosted 60 virtual workshops and talent exchanges to connect founders to industry mentors and skills-focused coaches.
Remember, these entrepreneurs come from 8 different cohorts and are at different stages of development. Some are in concept stage and some are ready to scale. Help them get to that next step and support their campaigns at www.streetentrepreneurs.com/streetpitch.
I'm Ruth Rao, founder and chief play officer at Mouse Loves Pig, and we make toys. So I started this business with a sewing machine and a dream in 2015 when my youngest son was still in diapers. And the best part of running it is that I've been able to be home with my kids, raising them, teaching them, being mom, and chasing a dream. And now that they're school age, this business is ready to grow in a big way. Running your own business is a big risk. It's a risk to your livelihood. Right now, our toys or 100% of my family's income, say, you know what, at the end of the day, succeed or fail, if I don't chase the dream, if I don't do what is bubbling up inside of me, I'm always gonna wonder, and I'm always gonna feel like I've left something on the table. And I want to live the kind of life that I know that I've taken and tasted everything that was offered to me. When my first child was a year old, his favorite teething toy was recalled for lead paint. I did what a lot of parents would do in that situation. I panicked. I freaked out. And then I went one step further and I started researching. How did this happen? What is the toy industry? How are our toys made? Where are they made? What are the regulations? How in the world did a toy that's meant to go in a child's mouth end up with lead on it? And what I discovered is that the manufacturing industry worldwide is kind of a murky place. So I kept digging. How are toys designed? Which ones are good for our kids? Which ones help support their cognitive development? And I took everything that I learned and went back to our own toy shelf and realized that most of the toys we gift our children are beeping, blinking, battery-powered, plastic, screens. They're played with for a few weeks and then forgotten on the toy shelf. And with two rambunctious little boys, a lot of them end up broken and in the trash. As an architect, I decided I can do better. I can design better toys for our children. Toys that support their cognitive development. Toys that will last through all the ages and stages of playtime. Toys that will increase their ability to play independently and give them the confidence they need to use their imaginations. The confidence that tells them that their own ideas and their own way to play is valuable and worthy. Hi, I'm Ruth Rao, founder of Mouse Loves Pig, and we make toys. The toy industry in the United States alone is a $27 billion industry. Experiential and infant, toddler, preschool toys make up about $4.18 billion of that. But we're not targeting all of those parents. We're targeting parents specifically that are concerned about sustainability, concerned about where, how, and who made their toys, and most of all, that are concerned about making sure their children have toys that help them stay entertained for more than 5 minutes without resorting to screen time. We all have experienced this year during the pandemic screen time and screen time overload. A fun story about that is that one of our community members last year, pre-COVID, they were traveling and had an unexpected layover in an airport. They were there for an extra 4 hours, and she was a little panicked because she had forgotten her phone charger, and she knew her 4-year-old was used to playing on the apps. So she brought out one of our toys, and she said he, not so quietly, played by himself for almost the entirety of that 4 hours, stopping only for snacks. She said he nearly had a meltdown when it was time to pack it up and get back on the airplane. She said he talked more and spent more time in his own little world in those 4 hours than he had the entire week before at home. That's the power of open-ended play for our children, to give them that confidence that wells up inside of them to say, I have an imagination and I know how to use it, and it banishes the I'm boards forever. Right now, the way that we reach those parents is through social media and influencer and word of mouth outreach. We do a few paid ads. All of our business is on our website, and we are also in a few select boutiques and toy stores in the United States and Canada. We have identified a local to the region manufacturer, and they've started making our toys. It is so nice to be able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody in this time zone about making the toys, shipping the toys, and where they are in production. We've also identified a local shipping and fulfillment center. They happen to be an employer of adults with special needs. They are so excited to start playing with, packing and shipping toys for us. But to work with them, we need to up our order volume. If you think that a world where toys that do less so kids can do more is one that you want for your children, there are 3 easy ways to support the growth of Mouse Loves Pig. We are ready to scale. I'm ready to hire a marketing manager, a financial manager, and we are so excited about what's coming next. 3 easy ways to support our growth. 1, Buy our toys. Head to our website. Everything there is ready to ship. Gift one of our toys to a child in your life this holiday season. 2, if you happen to be a marketing or a financial person and you think playing with toys all day sounds like fun, I would love to hear from you and meet you and see if you would be a good fit for the Mouse Loves Pig team. And 3, if you have $100 to $200 to spare and you want to get on the ground floor of the growth of Mouse Loves Pig, sign up for our email list. I have opportunities coming for you in the new year. Thank you so much. Any questions?
I am curious, so it sounds like you have multiple SKUs, multiple products. Can you tell us a little bit about the actual products?
So right now on the website, we have 3 main product lines. And the reason it's so narrow is that I wanted to make sure we did well with the things that we're doing. Instead of going wide and shallow, we're going narrow and deep to begin with, trying to do smart growth. So our 3 main product lines right now are a line of Crinkle baby toys. They're organic. They've got black and white illustrations on them. They're good for sensory input. They're just a lot of fun. And they're washable. So many of the baby toys that are out there on the market, you wash them and they disintegrate. Ours are made to be they're made to be drooled on. Our second line is a line of what's called ribbon wands or hand kites. They are a gross motor skill toy, super imaginative. They are good for children, roughly toddlers to teens. Feedback play when they're young, gross motor skills, and as they get older, they become a prop for imaginative play. And then our signature line are the tiny worlds. And these are little traveling playscapes. I have some if you'd like to see an example. But it's basically a little traveling playscape with pockets for figurines, and the whole thing folds up into its own carrying case for on-the-go imaginative play.
I would be curious to hear just a bit more about how you are similar or different to some of the other people out there who are trying to solve this problem. Obviously, it's a big problem. We all get that there are issues there that need to be addressed, but there are other people trying to tackle it. So how are you differentiated?
So there are some absolutely gorgeous companies that are tackling the exact same problem. The way that we're different is that all of the Mouse Loves Pig toys now and in the future as we expand into more product lines, they are portable. A lot of beautiful, good for our kids toys have lots of little pieces and parts that make it really hard to take them with you. And so everything that Mouse Loves Pig makes is meant to be taken with you wherever you go so that kids can take ownership of their own playtime and how and when they want to play.
Yeah, that's helpful, thank you.
Can you give us some sense of the unit economics?
Unit economics.
So how much does it cost you to make the various toys and what do you sell them at, that kind of stuff?
So right now our making cost is about 25% of our retail costs. So we've got some wholesale built in. As we scale and as we grow, that making price will come down. There's an economics of scale that will start to happen as we start making more.
And then what is the retail price?
Depends on the product. So for our Crinkle toys, our retail price is $18. For our ribbon wands, our retail price is between $10 and $12, depending on what part of the country they're in. A lot of our retailers like to upcharge so that they can then discount. And our tiny worlds range from $39.99 to $99.99, depending on the size and the complexity.
I have one more question, which is just, so how much money are you looking to raise now, and what would you use that money for?
That's a great question. This is my first time ever pitching or asking for anything more than people to buy the toys to support the business.
Because you've bootstrapped it?
Because it has been entirely bootstrapped to date. The business is paying it's our entire income in our family. Thank you, COVID. My husband's job has dried up. And so we realized that to really grow, I need to hire. And to hire, we need to raise funds and have a little bit more runway. So I'm looking to raise between $250,000 and $500,000 in the next 6 to 12 months to be able to really hire folks that are going to be a good fit and onboard them well.
Sure. So you're very well researched. I think just giving yourself a break, like be kind to yourself.
Thank you.
If you, need to pause and take a breath, like that's fine.
Thank you.
We've all seen that. We're used to that. Especially this is a new format. So just know that when you're pitching, everyone wants you to succeed, to do well. So just confidence-wise, I think just keep that up. I think the only thing I really saw that wasn't really that fleshed out, and it sounds like you're addressing it because you're hiring a comms person, but people do want to hear a little bit about how you are marketing and how, the work that you're doing to tell that story besides just coming I think, to pitch. It's like, yeah, great, we can give you money, but how do other people know about you?
Right.
And I think that's important. So just, sounds like you are addressing that.
I fully recognize that that is not my sweet spot, and I would love to hire somebody that is that sweet spot. Yes.
But yeah, it sounds like a really interesting solution to a problem, and I don't really know much about toys, so I'm learning too. But as someone who has, during COVID, is buying toys for people's children, because we can't see them, so it's a lot of like, let me send you something in real life. I think there is a market, and I think it's approaching it in a different way is this is the time to do it, I think.
And what I'm finding, I'm kind of a little bit of a data hog in that I love to figure out more about who's buying, like what are those trends. And what I'm seeing is that obviously as kids get older, our average parent is getting younger, but the breadth of that age range is expanding a little bit. I think this newest generation of parents is really concerned about sustainability and who and how and where their toys are made. And they want their kids to leave them alone while they make dinner for 10 minutes. So I think that there's a lot of sweet marketing that can happen there.
And just being off screens, I think focusing on that too. Just
yes.
All the kids I know are on screens all day long, like just because of necessity, for if you're working and your kids are in the house, like what do? It's easy to just give them the iPad, but I think if there are ways to give them other avenues to play, then definitely people want to hear about it.
Yeah, thank you.
Street Pitch is not a traditional pitch competition. It engages the audience to contribute funds and resources. It mobilizes over 100 organizations, and it uses simulcast technology to reach people globally. We are now on our last day of pitching with only 3 more finalists to pitch in front of the judges.
I'm Paul Joseph, founder and CEO of Vegan Skin, the best in all-natural plant-based skincare. The best part about running my business is definitely the lives that I get to affect. When I get a text message from a mother who says that her child is a completely different person now because of the products and what it's been able to do for her kid's skin, or for that guy who, has feels like he doesn't see himself accurately reflected in the mirror when he looks at himself because he doesn't like what's staring back at him in the mirror. And then he begins to use the products, and now he's really feeling himself and feels like that he's handsome and can go out and tackle the world. And so when you are making real change in real people's lives, and those people are letting you know the impact that what it is that you've created is having on their life, like there's no greater joy than that. You can't put a dollar on that. Carter G. Woodson for me is definitely someone whose legacy is surviving in me in the times when I feel like, I'm tired or I'm unsure of myself or, questioning whether or not I really have what it takes to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. I think about the challenges that people like Carter G. Woodson faced in the early 20th century during Jim Crow segregation and how they were able to overcome these challenges and to create amazing businesses and to create, amazing academic studies. And so if they were able to push past the challenges that they had in the early 20th century, then I think that as a Black business owner in the 21st century, that I can push past whatever challenges that I face to also become a living legend and to be great just like them.
I'm Paul Joseph, founder and CEO of Vegan Skin, the best in all natural plant-based skincare. We're an e-commerce company that specializes in products that contain less than 10 ingredients that you can actually pronounce, all right? So no going to Google, trying to figure out whether or not the products that we actually have are clean. You know exactly what it is that you're getting with Vegan Skin. That actually ties into how I created the products. When I was 23 years old, I was diagnosed with a skin disease that doesn't have a cure called hidradenitis suppurativa. Now, when the doctors told me that this is what I was diagnosed with, they literally said, there's no cure, there's no effective medical treatment, and the best thing you can do is to get yourself linked up with a support group. Now, of course, you can imagine at 23 years old, that's a really dark outlook to paint for somebody who's so young. But as they predicted, the disease got progressively worse throughout my 20s. And by the time I was 29 years old, half my body was completely covered in boils and cysts. And I literally contemplated ending my own life because I just couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was suffering in silence. I was in a lot of pain. But that was the moment that I said, you know what, Paul? You have two choices. You can either allow this to defeat you, or you can choose to pick yourself up and figure it out for yourself. And that's exactly what I did. I got to work. I created 3 signature products, our skin correcting face and body butter, which is our most popular product. It's our hero product. It's an excellent moisturizer for your skin. It'll make your skin glow really nicely as well. It literally contributes to more than 50% of our sales, right? So it's our champion. And then our second product is our skin correcting face and body scrub. It's an exfoliating agent for your skin, super rich, super refined. It gives you that luxury spa feel. And it's like one of the sidekicks to the hero, right? What is a hero without a sidekick? And then we have our third product, which is our second sidekick product to the hero, which is our root hydrating hair and body caramel, our most versatile product. You can use it on your scalp, and you can also use it on your skin as well. And so these products really transformed my life, and I started posting online, posting on social media, really opening up to people and letting people know what I had been suffering with in silence for so long and how I was taking care of myself. And something really amazing happened. Like, people started reaching out to me asking, well, we see what's going on and what you're doing. Can we try your products? And so I literally, in the beginning, you guys, I would just ship the products to people in Tupperware containers, like, here, try it out. And then something really incredible happened. People began experiencing life-changing results. That was when I knew that I had really created something that could be beneficial for so many people. And it's the reason why we have gone on to help thousands of people, whether they have skin woes or not. That's something that people really enjoy about the products, is that even if you already have really good skin, it'll take really good skin and make that skin fantastic and great, because the ingredients are just that clean and that pure. And that's something that really separates us from our competitors, like a company like Kiehl's or Lush or Apothecary or Youth to the People. These companies that really told that they're plant-based and that they're clean and that they're natural. And yeah, there may be 4 or 5 natural ingredients in their products, but when you take a microscope to the ingredients, you'll see that there may be 10 other ingredients that are really questionable, that you do have to actually go to Google to figure out whether or not they're good for your skin or not. And if you are like me with really unique skin needs, that's just a gamble that you can't take for your skin, which is exactly why we don't roll the dice with our customers. Our commitment is making sure that our products are always clean and safe to use, and that we're using the best natural ingredients possible. That's where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of the best in natural skincare revolution by becoming a customer. When you become a customer of Vegan Skin, you're really like a small investor, because not only are you going to get something beneficial for your skin, but you're really helping a company like ours, you're really helping Vegan Skin to grow so that we can get the products in the hands of as many people as possible. So what are you waiting for? You should be on your smartphone right now or on your laptop going to www.veganskin.shop, and I would recommend starting with our hero product, which is our face and body butter. You really can't go wrong with that. And you can also follow us on Instagram at veganskin_ to find out all the fantastic things that are going on with our company. So come on, learn for yourself exactly why they call us the best in natural skincare.
Yeah, I was just gonna, as a founder of a healthcare company, obviously there's some differences that are profound between healthcare and wellness, but there's also a really strong community of wellness entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Have you thought about how you access the wellness sector of customers, and whether that's talking about, I know you mentioned just a minute ago, folks that are having challenges with diabetes or other conditions than the one that you have that are consumers of wellness products, how you might access them through those wellness support groups or channels, either on or offline?
Yep. So there's a number of ways. So like before the pandemic happened, for example, like I would go to international conferences like all the time, whether it be microbiome conferences, skin and health conferences, wellness conferences, health conferences, women's health expos. Like I was always making sure to plug into all those different spaces for exactly what it is that you're saying, is that like that's where the key customers are, the people who actually do look on the back of the products and, like they're the first one in Whole Foods, like what's in this, So I'm definitely obviously pre-pandemic would always go to like all these different conferences and wellness expos. Another way that I also engage with the wellness community is by appearing as guests on podcasts. So like I have a friend who has a podcast called Plantarian, which is all about like veganism and like plant-based, living. So I was a guest on her podcast. I was linked up with the yoga and meditation community this summer. There were these conversations that were happening online called the Elephant Conversations. So this was like the yoga, the wellness, and health space. I linked up with them and was on their platform as well, talking about the importance of skin health and the importance of eating well, because that's the community that I am a part of. I'm not just a cosmetic-based company. As somebody who has a skin disease that doesn't have a cure, who is figuring out a way to be able to lessen that disease, that's my world as well. And so our company exists between the cosmetic space and also the health and wellness space. So we're always moving in those spaces for sure.
Have you developed kind of an avatar or some other icon that tells you who your best customers are?
Mm-hmm. So our best customers tend to be Black women, typically between the ages of about 25 and 40. A lot of them are parents. I get a lot of mothers who come to me and are like, I'm freaking out. I have no idea what to use on my kid's skin. Especially with like millennials, older millennials tend to be like question more what's in their actual products and what they're actually using, particularly for their kids. So I have a lot of mothers who come to me who want to use products for their kids, who also want to use products for themselves as well. So that's the demographic that typically likes to purchase our products for sure. And then their husbands always steal the products and their boyfriend's always like, now my boyfriend is in love with it, which is actually one of the great ways that we've been able to attract more men to buy the products, is that we find that whenever you're like marketing like beauty products and skincare products, like men tend not to buy them. But what we found with our company is that whatever like men are in proximity to the women that buy our products, they always end up becoming customers, which has been, to be honest with you, quite phenomenal to get feedback from guys and get video testimonials from men who say, this product has really worked for me as well.
And is getting into retail part of that longer term strategy, or do you envision yourself continuing in the e-commerce space and potentially not doing brick and mortar at all in the future?
Mm-hmm. So as of right now, I don't see retail. We flirted with retail a little bit, but I really enjoy the direct to consumer e-commerce model a lot, especially because we don't really know what the future of brick and mortar retail is going to be. We don't know how much longer we're going to be in the pandemic. We don't know exactly, what consumer behaviors are going to be in terms of going into the stores. But what we do know is that people are purchasing more online. And so if that's where the natural progression is, and we don't have to deal with having to worry about compromising our ingredients as well, that's something that really concerns me about when a cosmetic company goes from being this incredible company that has all these great ingredients, and then when you start shaping the product for retail demands, typically the quality of the product diminishes as a result of that. And because I'm a customer of my own product, like I can't produce a product that I can't use myself. Like my skin depends on the products that I've created, and our customers depend on our product integrity remaining the same.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about, would you do marketplaces or potentially the retail e-commerce sites, so Target.com or Walmart.com versus actually going into physical stores?
Yeah, I would be willing, but where I draw the hard line is product integrity. As long as there is a way to do it responsibly, where the product can retain its integrity as really being a natural plant-based product that people really are experiencing benefits from, if there is a way to still do that responsibly and then still have it manufactured on a large scale like that, where a Target or a Walmart can carry it, then absolutely.
But if that means that the quality of the product has to diminish, then I'm not interested. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charinar and I'm the owner of Charinar. The problem that my company solves is we create high fashion flat shoes for women who wear above a size 10, and we make complimentary Superfly accessories to go with them. This is a zebra pony hair mask. It has 74 holes in it. I handmade it, hand cut it. These sold a lot at the height of the pandemic. I'm really happy that people trusted me with their protection. The values that I live by as an entrepreneur are strong moral ethics. I make sure that I treat people well, and strong work ethics. I make sure that I work hard and I love what I do.
I would say that she's talented. There's no denying that. I tell her all the time, and it's not just to flatter her as a friend, that her fingers were created to cut leather, and I'm proud of who she's becoming.
Hello, my name is Charinar, and I'm the owner and head designer of Charinar. Charinar is a premium leather goods company that specializes in handmade accessories like leather masks, leather fringe scarves, and high-quality handbags. We're blessed to say that we just celebrated our 3rd anniversary. This coming season, I'm realizing my ultimate dream of adding a line of high-fashion flat shoes to go with our accessories. Did you know that less than 10% of all shoe companies make women's shoes above a size 10? I know this personally because I wear a size 12 in women's shoes, and very few companies make shoes in my size. If I'm lucky enough to even find my size and I want to look cute, I have to go for a high heel. If I want comfort, then I have to go for a flat. No one should have to compromise. To be honest, no matter what you do to it, a high heel is never going to be comfortable. I want a fancy flat. That's why at Charinar, we will create high fashion flat shoes for powerful women of excluded sizes who want to go from early morning meetings to late night cocktail parties, all without having to change their shoes. Our customers demand style and they need comfort, all in their size. The average pair of Charinar shoes will cost $195, and we project that our shoe line will be cash flow positive by the end of our 1st year. We will use the profit of our sales from you to design and make the very first line of Charinar's fancy flats that will be shown at DC Fashion Week right here in 2021. We have competitors that make flat shoes in some sizes, but those shoes are typically basic plastic trash. Unlike our competitors, our shoes are made by a trusted footwear design instructor who taught at the Fashion Institute of Technology. Our shoes will be made locally using ultra comfortable pour-on insoles and high quality, genuine leather uppers. I love what I do, and I pay it forward with every step by donating leather design classes to people who wouldn't normally be able to take my classes, like cancer survivors and teenagers. Not only is it good for the soul, but we are developing production capacity locally by molding craftsmen and creating people who are passionate about working with their hands. At Charinar, we make leather accessories that fit. They fit your body, they fit your life, and they elevate your style. You can find us at charinar.com, where you can sign up for the shoe drop, buy our current products, and donate to our classes. Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about like how you're planning to fund the creation of the shoe? Is it from like the current sale of your products? Are you looking for investment? What does that look like to bring this product to fruition?
In order to bring this product to fruition, the way that we're going to raise funds is organically through sales. Now, what happens is that the rollout tends to be a little slower than usual but it is organic and it's fueled by customer sales. For the very first year in business, we had no profit at all. And for our third year in business, we had $13,000 in profit. And this isn't even my full-time job. I teach full-time. And even though it's moving slowly, I'm building a customer base that trusts me. And so I would like to continue that for the rollout of the shoe line.
Your products are amazing. I checked it out online before coming, and I'm curious as you get into the world of shoes. I'm a big shoe guy. I have a lot of shoes, so know quite a bit about it. Can you talk to us a little bit about your supply chain? So where are you going to kind of tap into the supply chain that you already have in existence with your bags and your accessories, or where you kind of like you sourcing your goods?
So
raw materials, more or less. Yeah.
So I like to source my materials in store in cities like DC and cities like New York and Ohio. During the pandemic, however, it has forced me to look for online suppliers, which has been a really good positive because I can get a lot more raw materials at lower prices. And I will continue to do that as we roll out into our footwear line. And one of the things that's important is that I make everything by hand, and I'm training artisans to work with me. Through finding people who are interested in the classes, I tend to find people who are really passionate about leather design, and I train them to work under me. I have interns who work under me. I have contractors, different models, different photographers, and that is how I'll build up production capacity as well.
Can you talk a little bit about your experience? I know you mentioned in your pitch something about the Fashion Institute of Technology. Are you currently a teacher there, or is that a previous role of yours? Can you share a little bit more about kind of what led you to starting your own company with your first line of products and then going into the shoe line?
So what led me to start my own company was originally when I first graduated from university, I was a stockbroker. I worked at Lehman Brothers, and then after a time I became a compensation analyst. And I noticed that I was really missing texture and color and fun in my life. And so what I did was I just went to the Fashion Institute of Technology and I started taking a class after work, and it was just a sketching for accessories class. And I ended up loving it so much that I was like, oh my goodness, I can stay up till 4:30 in the morning sketching, go to sleep for 2 hours, go to work at 6:30. I wouldn't recommend this, it's not healthy. And still be super energized and pumped up. So I just felt I need to figure out how to do this and make money. And I actually started saving money. I quit my job later that year, and I enrolled in the Fashion Institute of Technology full-time in their accessories design program. I graduated in 2016, and I worked making kids' shoes for Kenneth Cole. And I quickly learned that designing shoes is a lot like crunching numbers as a compensation analyst. You really just sit at a desk and sketch shoes all day long for somebody else. And I didn't have the ability to actually start my own company because they own my intellectual capital. So what I did is I quit my job, and then 6 months later, I launched my company on November 15th, my birthday, 2017. And through the process of starting my company, I discovered this passion for teaching. So I was already connected to the Fashion Institute of Technology, and they needed people to come in and teach footwear design courses and handbag design courses. And so I just went there and did it, and I loved it. It was something about standing up and talking to people and sharing my passion for working with your hands that really brought me to life. So I actually added an extension to this business called Charinar Class, where I go out into the community, the libraries, the creative centers, after school programs, and I teach people how to make goods by hand. I think it's a really important part of happiness, actually holding something that you made yourself.
Yeah. I'm really loving the idea that you are a social entrepreneur. It's something that is personally really important to me, so I'm glad to hear that. I'm curious, as you had mentioned that your price point coming out, I think is going to be $195, I believe, for your shoes. Can you talk to us about like how you came to that number, and furthermore, there are many shoe companies that have come out, and clearly, as you perhaps know, and they'll have a price differentiation between a kind of more general market product versus a more higher end premium model. So you came out and said, I want to do premium straight out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us, I know it's kind of like two questions in one, but can you talk to us about your price point at $195 and then why you decided to kind of go directly into premium as opposed to maybe having one that's, you know, a little more general market, you could sell more and that type of thing?
Thank you for the question. So the reason why I decided to go for a premium price point, when I first launched my line, I was actually aiming for an ultra luxury customer. And where I missed the mark is that I'm not an ultra luxury consumer. I'm actually a premium leather consumer. Think about United Nude, think about Madewell, think about Francis Shoes. This is my price point. So once I realized that, I worked backwards. I said, this is the price point I want. This is the quality level I want. Now, what do I need to do to match these together? So I started with the $195 price point. I considered the cost of materials per shoe, which is $20, the cost of labor per shoe, which is going to be, because it's stateside, it's going to be about $75. And then I put those together, and that's how I came up with my ultimate price point. So the average will be $195. The range will be $175 to $225. Having sandals at the lower end of the range and closed toe, pointy, high fashion flats at the high end of the range.
I think your products speak for themselves. When I came in, I was immediately struck, you know, it's not like somebody made a bag. These are designed, they look high quality, they look premium, no doubt about, you know what you're doing. I'd love to hear about what you're doing to establish your brand, whether there's a specific look. And you mentioned earlier about intellectual property. You know, you're going to have a trademark or a thing on your products, which, you know, people can then recognize and say it's one of yours.
Yes. So the way that I differentiate my brand, our design ethos is modern, minimal, simplicity. And simplicity really means simple, style, elegant, function. So you don't see anything extravagant. These bags aren't even lined. And one of the reasons is lining usually hides the sins of the leather. So if you have a low quality piece of leather, they'll back it with plastic and then they'll put fabric inside. I just wanted to start with a quality piece of leather. And as far as our trademark, I have my logo here. And this logo is the silver version of this. And this is my actual signature. This is how I sign my name. I just added the 3 dots, and the dots stand for shoes, bags, and belts.
Wow. What's your ultimate end game? And it's fair if you don't have that answer. I'm just curious. What ultimately you do? Are you trying to be ubiquitous? Is this something that you want to see, on Fifth Avenue in New York? Is it something you want to see in Milan? Or is it something that you want to keep kind of organic in the, region that you're in currently?
My ultimate end game actually looks a lot like what I'm doing now, but on a much grander scale. So I actually love what I do. I love making it. I love teaching people how to make it. I love designing it, and I love working with production partners also. So I would like to continue growing organically and move from just being on the East Coast to being national to eventually being international.
My name is Maddie Boning, and my company name is Sunstone Candles. Sunstone Candles offers aromatherapy via a non-toxic soy candle made from 100% soy wax, and they all include a surprise crystal inside. So that really helps to just uplift your space, and it also provides a break in the routine. So all of the crystals are hand selected to make sure each and every one of them is amazing. But then I put it with a little note and I wrap it up. And I even go as far as to mix it so it is random and it is a surprise. And that way, if you ask me, hey Maddie, what's in this citrus sage candle? There's no way I can tell you because I don't even know. My favorite thing that people say to me when they get the crystal out of their candle is, oh my gosh, I got, let's say, a tiger's eye, right? Or sodalite or amethyst or whatever it might be. And they'll email me or reach out to me and they'll say, maybe this is my first candle and I just got my crystal out and this is exactly what I needed right now. I didn't even know about this stone. I didn't know it existed, but this is just what I needed right now.
In these past 6 years, I've watched Maddie make candles in her kitchen and then grow that into what is now becoming a recognized brand?
I'm sure you've heard by now that traditional paraffin candles are extremely toxic. They release carcinogens that are linked to both asthma and lung cancer. And now more than ever, we need to be sure we're taking care of our lungs. Perhaps you're just trying to practice some self-care, and next thing you know, your aromatherapy experience went from being therapeutic to toxic. My name is Maddie Boning, and I'm the founder and owner of Sunstone Candles. Candle sales in the US total more than $3.2 billion per year. That's right, candles are a billion-dollar industry. And while brands like Yankee Candle and Bath & Body Works continue to dominate the candle industry, there is movement towards natural products and to feel good about what we're buying. Sunstone Candles are made with 100% American farm soy wax. The wax we use is 100% biodegradable, as it's derived from the soybean plant. We refuse to use additives or fillers. Sunstone Candles is simple ingredients only. Plus, the surprise crystal inside adds a level of excitement and anticipation to your day. It can give you something to look forward to. I started this company to help you uplift your atmosphere and provide a fun and safe break in the routine of day-to-day life. Sunstone Candles offers aromatherapy via a non-toxic soy candle, including a surprise crystal inside, which are handmade locally. We offer a variety of different aromatherapy scents and products infused with crystal healing energy. While our focus is on candles, we also offer DIY kits and classes, soaps, room sprays, and wax melts. I'm also looking to expand our product offerings. I started making candles in my kitchen, and 4 years later, I had sold thousands of my products. I reached all across the country, and I even declined an offer to work with Target. But instead, I wholesaled my products to more than 25 independently owned retailers across the country. And this was all done while working a full-time job. I am resilient. In November of 2019, I opened a brick-and-mortar location inside of Union Station. As you can imagine, this was less than ideal timing. 2020 was not the year. Yet, I've been able to pivot and focus on product development and reorganizing our focus and marketing efforts to our e-commerce store. I am ready to take Sunstone Candles to the next level. Sunstone Candles is both a B2B and B2C business model. This year was interesting. Approximately 30% of our sales were in person, whether that was in our retail store for the few months that was able to be open, or I did also manage to set up at some in-person events such as farmers markets and craft shows this year. About 20% of our sales this year came from online. And then that other 50% is the B2B side of our business, where we're wholesaling and working with retailers. In total, I've sold over 2,200 candles. My goal is to increase revenue by 50% and increase overall net profit by lowering cost with in-house production. My plan going forward will include a new candle drop shipping method, wholesale, and really doubling down on marketing our e-commerce store. My plan going forward, I want to be able to invest in things like a product label printer, higher capacity melting pots, and short-term rental manufacturing space. Some ways you can support me in expanding my production capability and product expansion is through my crowdfunding campaign, and also to buy and recommend Sunstone Candles products, either for yourself or to someone who might enjoy them. I'm also looking to network and make connections and partnerships. If you have the network, connect me with retailers, e-commerce stores, or anyone who might be interested in our products. Please visit the Street Pitch landing page on my website for more details about how you can support Sunstone Candles. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Why'd you say no to Target?
Great question. So I said no to Target, and that was a very difficult decision because obviously that would have been a lot of fast cash. I said no to them because they wanted me to sign an exclusivity agreement, meaning I could only sell to Target. And I included in my pitch the part where I said, but instead I sold to 25 independently owned retailers across the country. I made that decision because I didn't want to limit myself to Target. I would have rather went into all these mom and pop shops and grown with them. Yeah, I didn't want to be exclusive to Target, which is why I said no.
So who's actually buying your candles? Can you describe?
Yeah, it's actually a very versatile market of retail stores that buy them. It's been anything from flower shops to bookshops to clothing boutiques to gift stores to crystal shops, you name it, you know?
This is great, and the world could certainly use some light in this darkness. So I love that you've made a candle. I love that it's also circular. You've got a whole system in place. I love that you're going for a community approach with the independent stores. But it's $1 billion market,
yes,
and even on digital, highly competitive space.
It is.
Beyond the well-being focus, what else differentiates your product and approach that could break through the clutter?
So we are the only candle company that has a surprise crystal inside of their candle. Now, I did file for a provisional patent to protect that idea. However, I didn't finalize it to the full patent because I had a sense of this isn't the final design, you know what I mean? So it's the surprise crystal inside. We're the only people that do that, the only company that does that. And also, I know there's a lot of soy candles, but not many companies use 100% soy wax. And because we source our wax from American farms, it actually comes from Kentucky, to be specific. All of those make us unique. Yeah, and help narrow down that very saturated market.
Very interesting. So it's sustainably built with the soy from the U.S.
Yes.
From Kentucky.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about these crystals?
Yes, so if you're not familiar with crystals, some common ones I can name off are things like quartz, amethyst, tiger's eye, and then the way that it works with these products, the candle specifically, is, you know, you light your candle and your wax will start to evaporate, and as your candle burns down, your crystal packet will emerge to the top. So you'll have a tumbled crystal about the size of a quarter or so, and it's a surprise, so you don't know what kind it is. But it does come with a note to let you know what kind of crystal it is and then what properties it carries as well. Yeah, and they're all natural, they're all geological. So the way that I explain it to people, because sometimes I'm careful to not emphasize too much on the metaphysical healing properties, because some people just aren't into it, and that's totally okay. But if you look at the geological aspects of how crystals are made, that in itself is fascinating. So that's always kind of what I tell people who are maybe thrown off by the crystal.
It's very interesting.
In your marketing plan.
Yes.
I recommend that you take a hard look at that and understand not who you're selling to, not who you're marketing to, rather who's going to buy from you. That's the big difference. You can market your product across the US. That's easy. But find 100,000 people who's going to buy your product and market to them. That's the distinction that has to be made. Because if you want to increase your sales by, another 1,100 within, I guess, a year, your marketing effort has to be there. That's the first part. You really have to be a laser targeted, because as my colleague said, everyone's buying candles.
Yes.
You have to make that distinction of what type of candle you have, what's unique about you, and then market to the group that will buy that particular candle.
That value those same things.
Exactly. But also who will value it and then buy it.
Yep.
So, that's so out of I think there's 10 of us here right now, or 7 of us here right now, maybe 2 of us are gonna buy it. Market to the 2 of us who will buy it. Forget the 5 that are not, because that's your marketing investment. Okay, that's your customer acquisition cost as well. So you want to have a low customer acquisition cost, and I want to see. Again, you're offering help. We can help you anyway with that aspect of it, because I believe in the numbers. The numbers tell the story. So if you want to go 50%, there's a story there that the numbers won't lie, but your effort has to be up to that number. don't ever call yourself small. I don't ever think of yourself as diminutive. Don't do that. You're a business owner, just like all of us. We're not small, we're just business owners. Go after what you want, set your goals, keep it clear, and go directly after that. But be very strategic, because I want to hear the strategy. I want to hear, this is my customer profile. I'm focused on not necessarily the geography, but wherever they are, and find them and market to them. Because you said no to target, intentional, great observation, but they have to be intentional in going in the other direction as well, and making sure that you hit your targets. Because you're a business owner, you got to hit that part. So the marketing is a big part, is a big piece of the puzzle I'm seeing here, and having clarity in your marketing plan is a big part of it as well, because that's going to help improve your. You're not offering equity, but in order for you to improve your production line, you got to sell more.
Yeah.
So there's a key to your answer there. You're going to sell more. You got to be very strategic and very efficient in how you get your product out there, so people will buy it from you.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what we're getting to that point there. But I'll hand it over to my colleague here, who I'm sure will add more to it.
I love this. This has been a great group. This is so good. This is so good. Maddie, one last question.
Sure.
Because even just hearing the conversation so far, I even wonder if there's been any thought about what business you're really in. Because it sounds like candles and crystals and well-being.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden I'm hearing about Americana, and I'm hearing about community experiential experiences that you've created. I wonder if you're in the community building business, for example. I'm wondering if you've thought about the alternative ways to even think about this business as something different than just candles.
Very interesting, and I'm really glad you asked that question, because I did intentionally put a hint of community-based focus in there, because I wanted, that's in our brand. It's part of the reason I started, and I wanted to continue to grow and help people and give them that same feeling. So you were pretty spot on in saying that, yes, we're a candle and crystal brand, but yes, we also have this community focus as well. So the answer is it's both. It's mostly crystals and candles, with a sprinkle of community-based in there. And I have had several thoughts on how I can make it more community-based, but then I didn't want to take it too far from the candles and the crystals. So it would be interesting to play with that balance, for sure.
Well, I'll just say that, when I came here, I thought you were bringing light to darkness. And I'm realizing you're bringing a little bit of community to a time of distance. That could be pretty exciting.
Thank you.
So in other words, a great follow-up question is understand what you're selling. You're not selling candles. That's what you're selling. And that's the marketing piece. That's what people buy. You see, they're not buying a candle. They're buying what my colleague just said.
You're in the business of sustainability. You're in the business of sustainability, from supply chain to how we take care of ourselves to how we take care of the earth and environment. And if you connect those really interesting narrative dots, what you have is a path to figuring out who needs to be with you at every step of this. So it would tell you who need to be distribution partners. If they don't align to a vision of sustainability and freedom, then they're probably not going to work for you, right? And so every one of these things, these values, become what I would say markers that then can become strategy, and then you build on them to become the marketing sound bites and all of the content that you produce. And when people see themselves in those values, they're going to naturally become part of your army of ambassadors. It'll be so much easier for you to execute a marketing and influencer strategy because you own the power of your own story first, and you got people so excited about it. So that's all I got, but I'm really, really excited for you.
Thank you for tuning into Street Pitch. Support the founders' campaigns at streetentrepreneurs.org.
And help the Street Entrepreneurs nonprofit continue to offer Pay What You Can programming by making a tax-deductible donation at streetentrepreneurs.org.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This has been the culmination of 2 years' worth of work. 1 year of 60 workshops and talent exchange sessions, 1,000 entrepreneurs served. And I want to thank our donors, our sponsors, our cross-posting partners, those of you hosting watch parties at home, our board. But most of all, I want to thank our 200 plus volunteers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Without you, none of this would have been possible. Thank you, and see you next time.